Selamat pagi.
Ah,
Kita boleh start dah sekarang, Dr. Salah?
Alhamdulillah boleh.
Okey, terlebih dahulu saya nak mengucapkan sedikitlah minta maaf atas kelewatan kita mula pagi ni. Dan saya ingin mengucapkanlah selamat datang, terima kasih kepada semua yang telah hadir secara maya ke webinar anjuran CADe-Lead UPM hari ini dengan tajuk Penggunaan Kecerdasan Buatan ataupun AI dalam Pengajaran dan Penaksiran, dan kita akan fokus kepada penjagaan etika dan integriti akademik. Saya ingin memperkenalkan diri saya terlebih dahulu. Nama saya Nurul Amelina, boleh saya panggil saya Amy lah, dari Fakulti Sains Komputer dan Teknologi Maklumat. Saya akan menjadi moderator untuk sesi pagi ini dan insya-Allah jadual kita akan tamat webinar dalam jam 12.30 hari lah. So sesi webinar pagi ini akan disampaikan oleh yang berusaha Dr. Ahmad Salahuddin, Muhammad Harithuddin. Kawan saya, selalu panggil Dr. Salah, dari Fakulti Kejuruteraan UPM. Sebelum saya menjemput beliau, saya izinkan saya untuk berkongsilah sedikit latar belakang penceramah kita pagi ini. Beliau merupakan pensyarah kanan di Jabatan Kejuruteraan Aero Angkasa di UPM. Beliau juga merupakan ahli jawatankuasa inovasi pengajaran dan pembelajaran UPM dan juga penyelidik bersekutu di International Institute Online Education IIOE National Centre yang berpusat di UPM lah, Malaysia. Beliau juga kerap dijemput untuk berkongsi pengalaman dan amalan pembelajaran dan pengajaran yang kreatif dan inovatif, terutamanya dalam bidang aplikasi AI dalam pendidikan. Melalui pengalaman yang luas ni, yang berusaha Dr. Salah juga telah memenangi pelbagai anugerah dan pencapaian di atas pendekatan inovatifnya terhadap pendidikan. Jadi tanpa membuang masa, saya mempersilakan Dr. Salah untuk memulakan sesi perkongsian beliau.
Okey, baiklah. Terima kasih Dr. Amy. Dr. Amy memang kami menyerahkan seperjuangan lah. We went around the world to actually give talks on AI dan juga especially on teaching and learning. Jadi pertama-tamanya juga saya juga minta maaf kerana lambat sikit hari ini sebab tadi ada sekena bentang kertas kerja dan mesyuarat. Tapi alhamdulillah di sini sekarang. Jadi sebelum kita mulakan 2 jam lama juga. Jadi kalau boleh kalau ada soalan boleh terus pakai mikrofon saja ataupun boleh tulis dalam chat box lah. Chat box nanti Dr. Amy akan tengok-tengok. So dia akan always boleh potong saya je lah. No worries sebab kita 2 jam ni kalau saya seorang bercakap mau agak letih juga.
Okey, boleh insya-Allah.
Alright, no worries. Sekejap, saya kena share screen sekejap. Alright, tolong tengok. Dr. Amy kira nampak tak?
Okey, nampak.
Kejap, try gerak-gerak boleh?
Okey, boleh.
Nampak Okey. Okey, baiklah. Jadi untuk saya rasa semua sudah maklum, cuma saya nak memperjelaskan beberapa terma-terma dan syarat. Tak adalah terma dan syarat, tapi terma-terma yang digunakan dalam inilah bengkel kita ini atau webinar kita ini. AI used in teaching and assessment. Jadi ada AI used in research, AI used in many other fields, but the focus of the webinar today is on the teaching and assessment. Although if you are here to know about or learn about like how to cite AI, for example, can you use AI for your academic publication, for example? I will touch a bit on that aspect later, but I think it's not about like going really deep into that. I think I will provide just enough information just to make sure that we are in the boundaries of research integrity as well, academic integrity. Okay, and we will try to answer these questions today. What is AI? When we talk about AI, what is AI? So I put that meme over there because sometimes when we talk about AI, all we think about is ChatGPT. So is this AI? If it's not ChatGPT, is it AI? And then also the focus, I would say the core, the meat of the webinar today. What should we know as an educator about Gen AI? What should our students know about Gen AI? And why I really want to talk about academic integrity, because I think this is a really important topic, but not widely discussed, as in seriously discussed when we discuss about AI. But I think it's been playing in everyone's mind um, about academic integrity, cheating on the code and stuff like that. And then hopefully when we covered all these fundamentals, at the end, just to save the best at the end, I will have something like how do we create assessments in the age of AI? When we have generative AI producing everything, how would we, well, is our traditional assessment work now? For example, we want to give students write essay on a topic. Right now, ChatGPT can just, spread out 100,000 words essay, just, blink of an eye. So is that really the skills that we want to teach our students, or for students to know? Do we, for example, how do I change my assessment in the light of AI right now, generative AI, which can produce many things, music, movies, pictures, stuff like that. So how do we actually assess our students' skills, knowledge, and I would say values, attitude in light of AI? Saya pun ada batuk-batuk sikit, minta maaf. Jadi ada kadang-kadang ada gangguan sikit lah. So what's the difference right now? I think I remember I saw a news clipping from 1970s. Ini dekat US lah. It's a picture of teachers and lecturers picketing, not picketing, like demonstrating in the streets, telling schools to ban calculators. Remember, this was back in 1970s. The calculator that you have today, the small ones, is proven as a big technology back then. It was considered disruptive because, well, they say calculators now will make students not count anymore. They wouldn't know how to count when you have calculators. That was back then, okay? Whatever computer that we have execute instructions. But now, computers have gotten smarter. Not only that, they also learn and think. If you don't believe me, for example, if you look at your social media advertisement, if you're on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, you could see that sometimes, I was thinking about buying a guitar yesterday, and then suddenly, it appears on your computer, like the advertisement. Hey, this guitar is so cheap and so good. Buy it now, something like that. Or you were thinking about, for example, you're thinking about renovating your house, and then suddenly the next day, there are advertisements about tools and stuff like that. They learn about your habit online, and they make decisions about what kind of advertisement, what kind of commercials that they're going to show you. So computers have gone smarter. So how to thrive it in the age of AI? So I'm talking in the perspective, from the perspective of academics. Think of AI as your own assistant, smart assistant that live in your basement. Okay, they can read books for you, write something for you, draw something for you, help you make videos, help you stuff like that. But sometimes they make mistakes as well. It's sometimes they hallucinate. They act like they know, but they just give out some nonsense sometimes. But it appears authoritative, it appears correct. Well, let's say you have that Albert Einstein in your basement who sometimes makes mistakes and sometimes hallucinates. What do you do with it? Okay, what can I do with this Einstein in your basement? Um, Basically, it's what limits what you can do with it is just your imagination. Okay, and another one is how to do what you want to do. For example, you want to write an essay for this audience, this long, you want this kind of depth, you want from this perspective, you want this style, you want that voice. It all comes down to prompt engineering. So these two things, I would say the skills that you need in order to thrive in the age of AI, not only you as an educator, but the students as well. Imagine what you can do with AI and then how to make it do what you want to do. Okay. And like I said, I want to make clear on the terminology first. Sometimes when we talk about AI, some people got confused. What I'm talking about, when people talk about AI, they could mean many things. For example, Dr. Amy, I think she's working on she's in the Faculty of Computer Science. So I think most of the when we talk about AI in her faculty, for example, they may talk about machine learning, deep learning, neural network, computer vision, and all that. But sometimes when we talk AI to the public, what they think about is ChatGPT. But let me make the distinctions very clear here. Everything what we're talking about is AI. You know, machine learning, neural network, deep learning. What else? What we usually familiar with is what we call LLM, large language model. AI that can mimic human output in terms of text, in terms of voice, audio, paintings, stuff like that, large language model. And we call this generative AI. Large language model is usually on the text, generating text. And the most popular one right now is ChatGPT. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So, you know, the reason I'm showing you this is just to make sure that we are clear here. In this presentation, we're going to talk about generative AI. We're not going to talk about like how you use AI to do predictive modeling, something like that, or how to detect anomalies in, for example, there are some researchers are using AI to detect cancer cells, something like that. But we're not doing that. We are going to talk about generative AI, which can contain LLM, large language modeling. Um, uh, and one of the popular LLMs is ChatGPT. Others are Google Gemini, Claude, and stuff like that. And I like if you see you see the parrot there, there's a reason I put it there. Okay, you'll see later why it's parrot. And it's so important also to know how it works so that, you know, if you know how it works, then you kind of can expect the output from an LLM. So basically, if you still remember your calculus, yeah, functions, you know, you got one domain, functions will map to another domain. Okay, so that means you have one input, put into the function, you got another input. And if you have multiple functions to different things, then I would say that's you got some kind of what we call neural network. So that's one way you can think about it. It's more complicated than what I've explained to you, but that is one good way to imagine what's going on. You got your input, and it goes through certain different functions, different transformations, and then what you get at the end is some kind of output. Okay, so for example, you know, the input could be anything. Could be text, could be images, video, audio, and the output could also mean, you know, text to image, text to text, text to video, video to text, audio to image, something like that. You know, this is basically how it works. Then the question is next, okay, how do they know what to convert from what to what? Okay, so for example, we input cats are, maybe put into neural network, what comes out is animals, for example. How do they know this? Well, basically, It is trained. That's what we call pre-trained right now. Trained by the petabytes of data that is available out there on the internet, on websites, articles, academic articles, on blog posts, your social media posting, for example, any books on the Gettysburg Project, for example. So all this, they use these data, petabytes of data, to learn how human actually talk, how we talk, how we write, and then from this, then predict the output. Okay, and that is why I would like to call LLM, what you're doing here, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, it's a stochastic parrot. Basically, if you can imagine parrot can, imitate your voice. Assalamualaikum, like that. Terima kasih. You know this, but it doesn't really know what it's talking about. It's just mimic you. And LLM works pretty much like this. It's based on the pre-trained petabytes of data, statistically choose which one is the most likely the output. So that's why I call this a stochastic parrot. Okay, I kind of like the name here. And by the way, that picture there, parrot reading, looking at up top, is AI generated. Excuse me. Now there are tons of tools out there, tons. Every month you got a new thing coming out, and to be honest, it's really hard to keep up. But worry not, you only need a few. That is what we call the major players. Like me, I don't use all ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini. I use Claude, and that is my only text-to-text Gen AI. And then there are other things as well, as you can see here, which can turn from text to another text, input text, come out image. We input image, the output is another image. I'll show you some of this, yeah? Show you. For example, text to text. Give me a definition of something. Well, it will give you another text. The photosynthesis is such and such. Write a code, that is text also. ChatGPT, LLM is very good at this. There will be also, like, for example, text to image. Create a simple cartoon image. There you go. That's how I got my parrot just now. Create a painting of a teacher teaching in a class with blackboard. And then I can specify the art style, cubism, a la Picasso. We'll do that, text to image. Or I can just give an image and ask it to actually turn it into another image. This is a picture of Mona Lisa. And I say, okay, could you paint this again like a Family Guy? If you watch Family Guy, so you kind of remember this, the faces there. And one thing when I was playing around with this is that is very useful is I can put an image and then ask it to actually scrutinize, analyze the image. For example, I give this data here without any numbers. And then my task is that tell me what this graph is and what is on the vertical axis and what is on the horizontal axis. Okay. And then I ask, can you identify the data points marked in the graph, arrange them in a table with 2 columns? And then apparently ChatGPT is good enough. They can look at a picture, figure out what those points are, and then give me an approximation of those data points, which is good. Sometimes we have these old graphs, old plots from old aerospace books, 1950s, 1960s. They don't come with tables, they come with a plot like this. So it's very useful for me at least. But I'm sure it will be useful for you also later on. And to some extent, ChatGPT could do a bit of math. But I wouldn't rely on ChatGPT to do the math. Although it depends also on your prompt skill, your prompt engineering skills. Like for example, right here, I ask it for a polynomial function to approximate the graph. And apparently it was okay. In this case, it worked, but some of the cases might not work. So, um, but I would suggest if you want to do calculation stuff like that, you use some other stuff. Any engineers or mathematicians or scientists out there, I will recommend you to use Wolfram Alpha, online calculator, to do all this more complicated maths like plotting graphs and stuff like that. This is audio to text. 11 Labs is the most popular right now. Even in your YouTube videos, like how they get your voice and turn it into the captions, those are AI also. And I remember when this one came out, I think many months ago, it was kind of cool. You can just type out the prompt, a movie trailer, and then a movie trailer will come out and looks real, looks cool, looks like I'm gonna watch this movie, whatever. So, but apparently it's not for public, I think. Oops. Um, because I've never seen anyone actually use Sora um, yet. Okay. So yeah, this is some of the stuff that I think that are most popular out there. There are some new ones which I haven't put in here. But I think the thing is, my message here is not to be able just to know every tools out there. It's impossible. But I will give you the advice Bruce Lee gave me. Not Bruce Lee actually gave me, but he said something like this. Bruce Lee, the famous actor, the Wing Chun practitioner, he's good in martial arts. He said, I'm not scared of a, a man who learned 10,000 kicks. I'm not scared of the man who learned 10,000 different kind of kicks, but I'm afraid of a man who learned one kick 10,000 times. What he meant is, it's better that you use a few tools that you really know about. You practice for 10,000 times, rather than knowing a little bit of like every 10,000 tools out there. So I took his advice as if I met him something. But I just have like a few tools in my arsenal. For example, for text-to-text coding stuff like that, I use Claude.ai, CLAUDE.ai. And then other stuff, I will probably use for literature review, I use something called Undermined.ai, UNDERMID, Undermined.ai. That's what I use. And currently, I'm not really into image generation yet, and not into text to speech. But those two are what I use the most: Claude and Claude.ai, as in John Claude Van Damme, and Undermined.ai. Okay. All right. Let's been talking for quite a while. Let's take a break. Let's look at let's see if the audience have anything to just chime in, share something, or if there's any question from the group.
Dr. Salah, macam mana nak eja undermine tu?
Oh, okay.
Saya dah share Claude AI dekat chat tadi.
Uh, tapi yang
after
tu tak ya.
apa
Sekejap.
ejaan dia?
Macam ni, sekejap. Let me do it. So it's Undermined.ai.
Oh, okay.
So ini untuk literature review lah. It's very good. Right now it's the best I use. I was like really amazed. Tapi kan ini aku share dalam WhatsApp group kan. Tak ingat.
Oh, ya ke? Nampak sangat tak baca WhatsApp group.
Itulah aku hantar macam-macam. The way Undermine.ai, it's helpful for you to start your research journey. Sometimes you got a research idea, you want to know what you want to do, some kind of literature review, right? You don't know where to start. Start with Undermine.ai. Ask some question, and it will give you a bit of start, like a selection of good papers, summary of papers, basically a mini literature review. So I asked my FYP students to use this. to actually quickly come up with like overall view on the topic that they're doing. And the one that I use for my LLM, this is my favorite my favorite LLM. Some people use ChatGPT. The difference is not that much though. Don't worry, you're not missing anything really. But I use Claude because I think it understands me well.
Salah.
That's it. Yeah.
Ada
Salah.
soalan Dr.
Yeah,
Hisham
yeah.
Dr. Hisham?
Oh, sure.
Hai,
Yeah.
nak tanya yang you kata undermine.ai ni, dia similar like science space ke?
Betul. Yes.
Oh, lebih kurang lah
If you're familiar with Science Space, cerita dia macam ni. Okay, that's a story.
Okay.
I did some. I've done some talks. It's like a guest lecture thing in the biotech faculty, and I was teaching all these literature review tools, what they can use, how they can use these AI tools to help them with literature review. And then one really studious student, came to me and said, I tried what you suggested to me, all these tools like SciSpace, Research Rabbit stuff, but I still couldn't find my papers, the question I'm searching for. And then without actually trying undermine AI, I just suggested to him because I saw it in Twitter the day before. I said, okay, can you try this one and see if you can get it? And then by the end of the class, he came back and said, okay, doctor, thanks for that. Yeah, I got what I needed. So I thought, oh, is it that good? Undermine AI. And then I tried it myself. I kind of like the depth it goes to search for relevant papers to your studies. So right now, I'm still on the free version, Undermine AI. It only allows you to make 5 literature reviews per month. So I think I will need to pay $20, $20 each month to use that. But it's been useful.
Literature review tu per login ke macam mana?
Tak, dia macam the way it works like this stuff. If you can log on to undermine.ai, you ask questions. It will ask you question about your research. What do you need it for? How do you plan to do it? Stuff like that. And then after that, it will come up with a report. Basically, these the literature review. Oh, sorry, these are the related papers to what you're looking for. They give you like a list of like 50, something like that. And then they'll write you a summary, the subtopics and stuff like that. What kind of gaps out there that still open to research, something like that. So it's very useful, give you like a mini literature review summary and also a list of papers which can be related to your research. So you can start it off like that's your 0th draft of your literature review. So you can use that to start off your research. So it's pretty good. Try it. I think I don't know how to explain anymore. I think you need to experience it yourself. Try it, Aisha.
Right, thank you.
No worries.
Dr. Salah ada yang bertanya di chat box. What is LLM stands for?
LLM stands for large language modeling. Large language model. Basically, an AI model that mimics the language of the people. What I'm talking about. It's an AI model that can replicate how we talk, like our language. And it's called large because it's been trained by petabytes of data, so it can write essays for you. It can talk like a real human being, use the same language, different kind of style and stuff like that. Large language model. A small language model is your autocorrect thing. Like when you use your phone, right? You spell out something and then it corrects you. This spelling is wrong, or it corrects your grammar or something like that. Those are what we call small to medium language model. So it does all those small things, but a large language model, you can actually mimic conversations. And I call it stochastic parrot because of the reasons just now. It's basically it will reply to you. It's a parrot. It doesn't really actually know what it's talking about, but it just replies to you like what will a human being most likely reply to you. Cats are animals. Cats are animals that eat, I don't know, cheese. Wait, mouse, mice, something like that. What is the most likely output that a human being is gonna give? Something like that. So when I say LLM, I meant ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Claude. Okay. Let me continue, Dr. Amy, boleh?
Boleh-boleh, silakan.
All right. So now with that all Gen AI thing, that was just an introduction. Now came the important question. Especially when Gen AI can generate anything now, what does that mean for our assessment, our academic integrity? Can someone ask ChatGPT to write a thesis, submit the AI generated thesis and got their degree? Okay, so in order to talk about that from that perspective, I need you to actually, I need all of us to actually talk about academic integrity first. What is actually academic integrity? So it's the expectation for all members of academic community to act with honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, and courage. There's actually a free document or book, The Fundamental Values of Academic Integrity. I think those lecturers who teaches QR and khusus integrity dan anti rasuah probably have seen this book, but that is where I got this definition from. So when we talk about academic integrity, when we talk about this topic in universities with students, with other academics, we are talking about supporting the academic integrity. Because one big role of university is to confer degrees to someone who has proved that they have their skills, knowledge, attitude, values, and whatnot. So when we are giving exams to students, for example, this is really important. We are assessing the students' skills, students' knowledge, so that later we can decide whether to give him or her the degree or not. So assessment, academic integrity is very, very important for a university, because if not, then we will be pretty much the same like a diploma mail out. And when we talk about academic integrity, I always like to refer to TEQSA, TEQSA, Tertiary Education Quality and Standards Agency from Australia, because one is my alma mater, also from Melbourne, and they have done a lot of research on academic integrity, especially in the light of generative AI that we have today, especially Deakin University on academic integrity. So, and I really like them because they put up these posters like all around universities in Australia. They even have posters in Bahasa Malaysia. This was actually from the Australian government. So I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it's really inclusive. So when we talk about inclusivity, this is what it means. You know, really, you want to speak to everyone in the country. You know, and then this is, I think, something that we were kind of familiar with: behaviors that undermines academic integrity. One is plagiarism. Okay, I think we are often reminded about not to, be careful about plagiarism. Presenting a work as one's own idea, one's own effort, but without proper attribution or proper citations. Okay, even though it is unintentional, it's still considered plagiarism. Okay, so plagiarism, I think everyone is familiar with this. Exam cheating, this is normal, bawa toyol dalam exam. Sometimes if the instructor does not allow it, so it becomes a behavior that undermines academic integrity, something like this. But this is something that we are kind of familiar with. We know it's cheating, we know it's wrong. We are working very hard to prevent this from happening. But I'll show you later some of the things that I have not really widely discussed about. Okay. Next one is fabrication. Okay, this is also very troublesome. Creation of false or non-existent information. Okay, so a simple example would be, let's say, you're supposed to have like a plot data. It was supposed to be, I don't know, maybe it's supposed to be a straight line, but your data points are all over. It's not a straight line anymore. So you want to make the graph looks pretty. You move around some of the data points a bit. That is actually a big violation of academic integrity. Okay, and not only that, that is probably more relevant to science and engineering, economics, for example. Like even for like humanities courses, humanities subjects, social sciences, presenting a fictional content as factual evidence is also a big violation of academic integrity. Okay, collusion. So I was thinking, how do I explain collusion? I found the Malay word, the perfect Malay word for that is berkomplot. You complot buat benda jahat. So berkomplot is basically, let's say you're giving students to do individual work, for example, but they berkomplot, they colluded with each other on doing the work, for example. Okay, this is also something that still behaviors that undermines academic integrity. Okay, identity falsification. This is kind of I would say burst into the scene back when it was back. I think soon after the pandemic, we are all we wanted to do online exams, something like that, online assignments, which is great. Of course, it widens a lot of aspects of education in terms of teaching delivery and stuff like that. But we also found out that we had some problems that we never seen before. Students pretending to be someone else. For example, we caught this one student who actually pretending to be someone else. They got their username, passwords, and everything. They take the online course as if he's the other person. So basically, they're not stealing identity. Usually these kind of people, they are paid to do this. I give you my username, I give you my password, you do the exam for me, say okay, and they go do that. So this is also another big violation of academic integrity. I think this is one of the biggest one. If, according to me, if anyone is caught doing this, I think he should be expelled from the university. This is cheating. This is big cheating. Okay, using fake identification, serious business here. Okay, this one. This is what is, I think, not enough being talked about. Contract cheating. We've known this for quite a while, but it's never really discussed seriously. Contract cheating is about paying someone else to do your work for you. Okay, act of outsourcing the academic work. For example, you pay this service from TikTok to do your essay, which is due tomorrow. Ask someone to, build something for you for a capstone design project for your class. And what worries me is right now, this kind of cheating service, contract cheating, is openly and widely advertised on TikTok, on Twitter, on, I don't know about Facebook, but all these, you ask any students, believe me, they know about this service. It's whether they want to do it, they want to pay for it or not. But you ask anyone, any students, they
Minum
know about
air,
it.
Dr. Salah. Minum air dulu.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sangat dengar tu.
Minta maaf. I think let me get some gula-gula. But think about contract cheating. Have you heard of CHEGG, CHEGG? That is a curious website, chegg.com, CHEGG.com. It's basically a website where you pay someone you don't know to do the homework for you. They'll just upload your work. For example, I found my work, like my assignment that I gave to my students on that website, which is scary. And then someone's been paying someone else to actually do my assignment. So it happens, yeah. And a new thing right now, AI assisted cheating. Sometimes you have an assignment which you don't want the students to use AI, but they use it anyway. For example, like I gave you an example just now, to write an essay. And then they will just produce GPT generated essay and submit it like it's their own work. So that's a big threat to academic integrity also. Okay. So how do we prevent this? Well, it's a hard problem. It's a complex problem to tackle. But one of the small ways we can do is, if I think you're familiar with this, like right before the exam, you will ask the students to write, to not write, to sign something like an aku janji. Or in the US university, for example, is called honor code. It's basically, you're asking students to tanda tangan aku janji, or write, sign off a statement. For example, I hereby affirm that I will complete this exam independently without any unauthorized assistance, materials, communication with others. Okay, and then they make some kind of promise. Does this work though? Well, I know I can understand if you have some skepticism on this method, but it has shown to actually reduce it a bit. Not by 100%, of course. No method is 100% works for like eradicate academic integrity problems altogether, but it works in reducing some. I think the smart thing to do is the Swiss cheese defense. You get academic integrity problem, people cheating and stuff like that. You implement on a code. Then you say, oh, it doesn't work that well. Huh? It's okay, we still do that. And we have other methods as well. You put another slice of Swiss cheese. Oh, this is not 100% effective. Yeah, we know that. We put another one. So you have many strategies. And just like a Swiss cheese, although it's full of holes, but you're hoping that with all these strategies, together, it will ideally eradicate all these problems related to academic integrity. People won't cheat anymore, stuff like that. So I would recommend for any lecturers here today who are listening to us, implement some kind of honor code when you're doing exams or assignments.
of course, it's not the only way you can do it, but this is a little things that you can do. Why not? Just spend some time doing this. You can reduce it to 5%. It's good enough, rather than not doing anything and get no improvement at all, for example. Yeah. And I will also would like to recommend to all these lectures. Hopefully, there will be some of us in the audience here who are, who wants to do something to change. Let's do some kind of posters like this all around campus. It's not much, as in you would think that this doesn't do much. People still gonna cheat. No, think of it this way. Why do companies spend so much on marketing? Putting it out there. Sometimes a company selling cables, like electric cables, they got the biggest advertisement board in the highway. But why do they do this? Marketing stuff like it influences how people think. Business psychology kind of thing. So by doing this and having students see this around campus and having us also as educators see this around campus, it sends a message that we're serious about this. We know about what is going on, and want to teach you that this is wrong. This is the right way to do it. If you need support, just come talk to us. We are not like we're not gonna hunt you down, something like that. No. But if you have something like this, it will create some kind of culture. It doesn't take much, I think, but it's enough to just like marketing and stuff. So this is one I would suggest. Okay, and then before I go into the detail on the academic integrity stuff, let me show you this ones. Is it safe to use ChatGPT for your task? I always say in my a presentation that if I can leave you with a picture or something, I'll just leave you with this picture here. So if you're using ChatGPT for playing, it's okay. But if you are serious about the output, make sure, one, you have the expertise to verify that the output is accurate. Okay. For example, I'm trained as an engineer, but I don't take advice or medical advice from ChatGPT because I cannot verify its output, whether it's accurate or not. So make sure you know what they are talking about, what ChatGPT is talking about. Secondly, if you are going to publish anything from ChatGPT into your own publication, okay, you must take the full responsibility, full authorship. ChatGPT cannot be your co-author. Okay, we cannot say that, oh, this argument comes from ChatGPT. It's not coming from me. So if you ask anything, you need to ask ChatGPT. No, ChatGPT doesn't have any of that authority or responsibility or accountability. Doesn't have any of that. Only you have that. Okay. So, for example, if you're writing an essay using ChatGPT, then if you're challenged on your ideas, you cannot use ChatGPT as your backup. No. So you have to take the full responsibility. Okay. And then I will just leave here. For example, I think I will ask Dr. Amy to give the link to my presentation here, slide here, so that you can reach this page here on some proper guides on how to cite AI if you're using AI. Okay. All right. Because I think it's pretty much, it's not so much of a complicated technique. No, it's just citation style, something like that, APA, Harvard style, IEEE. So, Dr. Amy, can you actually give the link in the chat box? Boleh ke?
I'm trying to access your slide je
Oh, ya ke?
I think
Did
I'm
I
not sure whether
Oh, betul lah, saya tak lagi.
rekod
Should
dah
I?
tersalah.
Okay,
Dia
so
share slide je.
should I make it public or just UPM je?
Up to
You know?
you.
Okay.
Dah
I
CCBY
think,
kan, right?
yelah, tapi it still looks access request. Kejap. Mesti bagi share. Say share, kejap. Sorry, I put public lah.
Okay, it's okay.
Anyone with the link can actually view. Okay.
Right.
All right. But don't put the link on YouTube or something like that, because keep it in this Zoom meeting. Okay. So it's those two are, I think, the best reference that I found on how to actually, citation styles and stuff like that. Okay. And then gonna take a break. I need to fill up my water bottle, and then we'll continue again, where we talk about how to actually talk about ethics in AI from a point of view of educator. And also, I will show you some assessments that I've done with my students where they cannot use AI, one, where they can use AI, but AI doesn't really, make them cheat. And also some other activities which teach them about AI without, giving like lectures, like PowerPoint slides, something like that, which makes them kind of learn and experience AI in a proper way. Not proper, in a more experiential kind of way. Okay, I'll show that to you. This is just some sneak peek, right? Ideas and strategies assessment. Okay, I will cover this later. Let's take a break for how many minutes, Dr. Amy? I think just give 5 minutes good, yeah?
Boleh. Kita start
Yeah, just 5
around
minutes.
11:10 lah. Boleh.
11:10, okay? 11:10.
Alright. Okay.
Okay, during the break, if you just unleash all your questions in the chat box. Any
Yes,
question,
please.
just put it there, and then we will take a look at it, because we need this webinar to be more interactive kind of way. Talking for 2 hours with a sore throat is kind of
Tak salah. Okay.
itulah.
So,
No,
silakan lah kalau ada barang soalan boleh.
baik. Okay,
share.
okay, saya tinggalkan macam ni lah.
Okay. Alright, so kita
I'll be
akan
back.
start balik 11:10. Okay.
11:10 tepat tau. Tepat
Baiklah.
sekarang. Okay, 6.
Okay.
Jangan main-main ya. Okay, 11:10.
Okay, jom start balik.
Okay, jom. Okay. Harap semua dah dapat regang-regangkan belakang semua. Kita sambung semula ya. So, when we talk about the skills or the knowledge about AI, what do we talk about? Educators, what do I need to talk to have the skills of AI? Do I need some training in neural network, for example? Do I need some training in coding or programming, for example? And then the question is the same also for students. When we talk about teaching students about AI, what actually we are teaching them? Do I need to teach them about the technology itself, or the impact to humanity, something like that? Well, luckily, the some of I would say there are some studies out there which kind of want to encapsulate everything that we need to know about AI. But I would like to start with this one. It's the critical AI literacy. When we talk about CADe-Lead AI, what does it mean by CADe-Lead AI? I remember every UPM staff needed to take those 2 online quizzes, right, on AI. Well, that's good enough, but that's for public. Maybe for universities, we need to go a bit deeper. Okay, so basically, an educator and students would have to, when we talk about critical AI literacy, these 5 are what should we kind of know about, dip our hands in, you know. You don't have to be an expert in each one of them. For example, I'm more into like crafting effective prompts kind of technique, the number 3 ones, this one. But maybe some other, academics are drawn towards the issues of inequalities and biases with Gen AI. Okay, which is great. But luckily also, the UNESCO really recently, I think around September this year, have come up with a competency framework for teachers. Like, it answers the questions: what are the aspects of AI competency that a teacher should have, a lecturer should have? Okay, so they have these 5 aspects here: human-centered mindset, ethics, which I'm going to dig into, AI foundations application, AI pedagogy, AI for professional development. And for these 5 aspects, it's like a rubric. We have like a different levels. 1, the lowest level is to acquire, dapatkan, deepen, mendalami, and create, mencipta. And then you should AI competency framework for teachers is available online on the UNESCO website. It's pretty new, I would say 3 months, but in terms of AI development, 3 months is already quite old. Okay, so I'm going to look into this ethics of AI, and I'm going to show you what can actually we do in terms of acquire. What kind of skill a lecturer need to acquire first? How to deepen it and how to create something like this. Okay, so what does that mean, this level here? So acquire means just to build fundamental AI literacy, like what we are doing today. Understand what is AI, understands the issues, the challenges, the opportunities that come with it, benefits, risk, and all that. And basic awareness using tools so that we can get familiar with that. Okay, and then deepen is actually try to look into the tools that can help us in our professional work, in this case, teaching. And be familiar enough with it so that you can see that some of this output doesn't really represent, for example, a group. Take a simple example. When we talk about philosophy, probably ChatGPT will give you the view on philosophy from the Western philosophies, but you might know very well that the Eastern philosophies has giant, monstrous amount of literature out there, which is not has been dug up enough and discussed enough in when we talk about philosophy. Philosophy, we always talk about those philosophers like Kant, like Schopenhauer, Aristotle, stuff like that, and very little is talk about, say for example, our own from this region, or maybe the old Islamic scholars like Farabi, Sina, Al-Ghazali, for example. Yeah. And yeah, so you might want to talk about give a more holistic view on how we view things in this world. And the next one, creates. Once you're familiar with all these tools, you create your own, your own kung fu. Like Bruce Lee said, when you know that one kick that you're going to practice daily, you're going to practice 10,000 times. Now, this time you are creating your own kung fu. You create your own AI solutions for any challenges, teaching and learning challenges. You contribute to policies, you contribute to discussions, you contribute to standards. Okay? And then what we are hoping to do that in CADe-Lead right now, this is, I think, if you talk to anyone in CADe-Lead right now, yes, we want to lead innovative AI enhanced pedagogical approaches for all to use. It's not just a matter of being the leader, but being the leader as in, everyone in UPM, you can say, oh, UPM lecturer, yeah, they know how to use it. They come up with some good stuff, some cool stuff. That's what we want to do. And CADe-Lead is, I would say, wants to lead this kind of, I wouldn't say revolution, but this kind of movement, innovative AI enhanced practice. Let's talk about this little by little. You can put yourself in this, I wouldn't say put yourself in any of these levels, because I think when I read this, there are some things that in this here that is also not really, I haven't really achieved that yet. Okay, this is from acquire level, the lowest. Okay, basically what we are doing here today is, we're trying to cover this part as well. Basic understanding of ethical issues. We talk, we give a perspective taking. We take a perspective from the teacher and learners. You want to try to connect some ethical issues out there. Like I told you about contract cheating, I told you about exam cheating, I told you about plagiarism. With AI that we have right now, if you can make that connection, that means we are kind of in this level already. And we have to plan actions how to minimize negative impacts. And I gave 2 ideas which are kind of easy to do, like every lecturer in this university, UPM, could do. One is to make it a culture, sign on a code. Anything you do, you need to put it down in writing. I confirm that I did not cheat, something like that. Sign. And another one is just kind of use the business psychology thing, marketing skills, put out a poster out there, everywhere. Just to, slowly build up the culture of everyone wants to talk about academic integrity. Everyone wants to talk about um, uh, uh, you know, cheating, for example, contract cheating, plagiarism, so that we know, because these kind of topics we usually keep it hush hush. Plagiarism, oh, you can't do that, man. You need to, although always the discussion is, really really quiet. You want to, show to people that dear students, helps, there are helps, supports out there here in UPM. But we also like to remind you that if you're thinking into cheating, don't. Okay? If you're thinking about plagiarism, don't. We know about this stuff out there. You should know about it too. You should take care of yourself. Something like that. Okay? Deepen is, I think, the next step. We try to apply guidelines and stuff like this. And also we look into the more complicated issues like data privacy, intellectual property rights, legal frameworks. I'm not too savvy in terms of talking about IP rights and stuff like this, but I think it's a big problem also. Like in creative arts, for example, if you produce something using AI, can you actually own the property rights or own the rights of that copyrights? So this is some issues that sometimes I'm not really I would say I'm not really well versed to talk about, but it's something to discuss about. I think maybe we can invite someone who's more into this copyright issues with AI stuff like to give a talk, which is I think is very important. Okay, and then finally create. We want to lead discussions like what we're doing today. We're kind of discussing, although in a webinar kind of way. We want to engage with the guidelines, how to use AI in teaching and learning, kind of the competency framework like this. We want to make sure that everyone in our faculty, knows something about AI or use AI in some kind of way, because it's not going anywhere. It's going to stay here for I think as long as we teach in universities, AI is going to be there. Okay, those are for teachers, for lecturers, academics. What about students? How do we measure students' competency in AI? Also, UNESCO published this AI competency framework for students. Actually, sorry, excuse me, the citation down there was wrong. This framework is for, it says that students for not only university students, but school students as well. Pretty much the same like the teachers, but I really like the citizenship in the era of AI, the first one here, create. I think the reason that human-centered mindset is the first one is because when you have AI, you need more humanity, more than before. Because you can imagine if you try your ChatGPT, produce an essay about SDG, 300 words. Click enter, a good essay, SPM level essay about SDG will come out. Nice, looks good, reads well, but it lacks the humanity side of it. It doesn't really talk about it. It doesn't have the human perspective. So that's why I think I'm not a language teacher, but I think creative writing right now is going to be more, I would say, valuable, because AI can never tell stories like human being tell stories. If you're into books, novels, you know what I'm talking about. I think there are some stories that really touch you in a special way, but AI can never do that. It's just pretty much like a parrot, rewriting what other people have done. Okay? So human-centered mindset, humanity-centered education. Okay, so we have about half an hour. So here's where I want your input also. Just type it in the chat box, or maybe you want to interrupt me halfway. These are my ideas, of which I think I tried many ideas in my class, like how to let students learn about AI, not to cheat the assignment with AI, but actually use AI to help them, build their own skills and stuff like that. So I have you here some assessments which I think could be also tried in your course, whether you are in science, natural science, engineering, if you're in social science, if you're in humanities, if you're in arts, you can try this. See if it works. Put in your own flavor. Okay. My very first idea, or before that, sorry, I was too excited. Let's talk first about tahap integrasi kecerdasan buatan, the integration level of AI. How much do you want students to use AI in your assignment, in your project, class project, in your exam? Okay. So there are four. Number one, no AI at all. You tell the students, okay, you need to do this assignment. Condition, no AI at all. You can go from that level to the level 4. okay, I give you this assignment project. You can use AI however you want, free. Go ahead. Okay. And there's two in between. Okay. So you go from there's no AI with some restricted use of AI, or you want the student to use AI to assist, or you can say like there's no restriction at all. You can use AI however you want. You just want the result. Actually, they all are possible. Okay, if you're not good, no AI is possible, but the proctoring is to be more, I would say, closer. Okay, so I gave you a few examples of assignment, like closed exam. Those are no AI kind of thing. Using AI to correct your grammar, for example, spelling or sentence structures. Those are, I would say, restricted AI. Sorry, restricted AI. Okay. Okay, you want to use AI to just come, brainstorm kind of thing, come up with ideas. Yeah, those are restricted AI. Another level, AI assistant. How would you do this? So you could say, for example, there are some cases where you can, ask AI to give an input, and then you kind of critique the output from AI. Or you use AI to compose music, for example, to help you not to just produce everything, but to help you with the sound. For example, you need to reach a certain sound. You don't know how to do that in the studio production level. You want to use AI. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And don't worry, I'll give you some ideas that I've done myself, and you decide whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, whichever you want, whichever you can do. Okay. So here's a flowchart. I love flowcharts. Engineers, they love flowcharts. So this is a flowchart if you start thinking about designing assessment. Okay. So you start with, you decide, you own, okay, I have a new course today. This semester, I want to create some assignment for my students, project, homework, something like that. So first you gotta think, is AI allowed? Does the students have to use AI? You decide. If no, then you look at the no AI kind of thing. Okay, just let your student know. Nyatakan dasar dan polisi penggunaan kecerdasan buatan kepada pelajar. Let your student know. For this assignment, no AI is allowed. You need to explicitly tell the students this. Have it in writing. Make it serious business, like a contract or something. Okay? And you could use the honor code just now to create your own policy, own contract for your own class. Okay? So this is just like a contract between you and students. Okay? You promise yourself, you promise to yourself and to me, do not use AI in this assignment. Sign this Perakuan Akademik Integriti Borang, which you do yourself, and then you design your assessment. Okay? This is one way. Although it looks easy, no AI, no AI, but important thing here is have everything in writing. Make sure your students are clear. Make sure your students sign the honor code. Hopefully, it will reduce any breach of academic integrity. Okay, let's say you want to design your assessment and you want to use some kind of AI. Okay, you decide like what level the students can use their AI. Restricted, assisted, or full AI. Okay. If you decide one of these, any of this, one thing you need to do is you need to actually teach students how to properly attribute, how to properly reference AI, how to properly cite AI in the work. Okay. You can refer to this page about the page with the tiger face now. Yeah, this one. Okay. Can give this to students or teach to students about how to cite AI, stuff like this. Okay. Now that is important. That's why it's part of the flow chart. You need to actually tell students how to attribute that. And then same thing like before, have your policy, your course policy in writing. Make sure every student sees it, and then make sure that they sign your honor code. Honor code. So this is just some rough guide on, not rough, I would say a systematic guide on if you want to design assessment for your course later on. I would say spend some time on explaining the AI policy in your course. Does it have to come from the faculty? Does it have to come from the head of department? You are the instructor of that course. You come up with your own learning contract. You come up with your own AI contract with your students. Okay, create this kind of culture. Now, let me share this with you. When ChatGPT came out in December 2022, I was already kind of using it. You know, me and my postgrad student, the PhD students. So, and then after a while, like around February, March or so, I'm kind of thinking like the way what we are thinking right now. Like, okay, ChatGPT is out there, can generate anything. Like how is my assessment is gonna be? I cannot just give an assignment. Let's say, for example, write a 1,000 word essay on SDG for engineering. The student will just go to ChatGPT and then generate everything. So I came up with this idea. Yeah, well, not I came up with this idea. We were discussing on some Australian researcher on academic integrity, and then gave me this idea. So I tweak it a little bit. Basically, before students provide me a generative AI generated essay, I provide them with an AI generated essay. I say, okay, you are given a 300-word essay on SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, which is AI generated. Here it is. The essay has got 0 marks. Why 0 marks? I don't know why, but it's not interesting. Your job, your task, dear students, is to improve the essay to make it 100 marks. But how does 100 marks look like? I don't know. Right now, the essay is kind of boring. It's obviously AI generated, no insights, no human-centered thinking, for example. You do it. What do you think will make this essay 100 marks? So it turned out it will be a good practice for students. Some students I know, when I give this thing, and then what they do is just, some people are trying to be smart. They just copy paste whatever my instructions here and put it back on ChatGPT. But I just laughed at them. And I said, well, if you do that, yeah, go ahead, do that. See the output. How is it going to be different? The output is still the same. Same sounding, same kind of structure, same kind of, not interesting, very general. I said you can copy and paste all this instruction that I gave you here, but it's not. You can see it's not better. It still sounds the same. So they actually need to put some extra work on making essay 100%. So I love this essay, but if you can take this idea and apply it to your own course, your own ideas. You want to talk about something else, not SDG, for example. But the idea is correcting whatever is generated from AI. Kind of like this. But you can see from whatever they send afterwards, you can see the quality of students, like their writing quality. And then from there, you can see, some students, they need help in actually conveying their own ideas and stuff like that. And then I had this second idea also, because the idea came in when I find out, I know the students have been using AI to write code, programming. And I do that myself too, you know. So my idea was this, okay, in week 1, I want you to write a code that can solve this general problem. General problem. Use your AI, whatever, but make sure that code works. Okay, and then save it on online somewhere. Save the code. So week 1, they were doing this in class. I was just sitting in front, facilitating the session. Students are typing out, prompting ChatGPT. Oh, can you write me this code? And then at the end of the week, they already built your own code. The next week is like this. I said, okay, now you need to use the code that you built last week to solve this problem. I gave them a new problem. They haven't seen that before. Just to see whether whatever code they're doing is, can solve that problem. So I kind of designed the question a bit that. But I thought it's a good practice for students to actually use AI to help them with programming, creating a system that works to solve problems. And then it kind of simulates the real world environment. You write your program, you write a code, and then the problem comes, you want to use your code, your program to solve that problem. So I thought it's kind of interesting because it builds on the students' programming skill also, and also the problem solving skills. So this is another thing that I think I was kind of proud of. This one is for my postgraduate class. It wasn't an exam actually. It was an exam, and then I gave them 2 hours to actually use anything they want on the internet, AI, to solve that question. They're using your data, evaluate payload mass difference between. This is for rocket engineering. It's about choosing a launch site to make your launch more economical, something like that. Okay. And then because there was actually question from MISA, Malaysian Space Agency, whether it's really beneficial to launch a rocket from equatorial region. So I gave that kind of question, industrial question, to students and say, okay, you are given 2 hours, use whatever you can, software, AI, whatever, give me something to think about in 2 hours. The only thing that they cannot do is to communicate with each other. Okay. So again, I think for a master's level, this is good also, because it kind of reflect the real situation, authentic experience out there. But be careful. You might think that they could do it, but some students really struggle also, and they're given too much freedom, they struggle. So do this kind of activity always, so that they're used to it. And then the last two, oh no, there's more. Yeah, these two is, I use case study. I'm sorry, I don't use case study as I think some of the faculties in UPM here, when they say case study, is actually a different kind of thing. But I meant case studies here as in a fictional situation, a scenario. So this is a scenario I give to my student. I like this kind of scenario because it kind of reflects what the students are really facing in their day-to-day study. And then this is the scenario, okay? And then down here is the question, the discussion question I want the students to discuss. And always it's not a black and white situation. It's not right or wrong. It's really gray. It's really kind of dilemma kind of thing. You know, is it right? Oh, it's not very clear. Because usually that is what is happening day to day. Sometimes things are not black and white, right or wrong. It's not like, like the Hollywood movies, like, that side with the ugly face and big X is the bad guy. This side with the blonde hair, blue eyes, nice long sword is the good guy. No, it's not as clear as that. It's usually a dilemma. So think about create a fictional situation. Like this is one example. This is another example. All students, I think, are facing this. Right. So I was kind of well, the case studies, I think, can be better, but I think it's good enough to actually give a different perspective. The students' viewpoint is something that is also faced by students weekly. I got I got a handing tomorrow. It's not done yet. And then talk about the commercial aspect of this contract cheating kind of thing. I think it's going to be useful. So this is one way of discussing about ethics of AI, academic integrity with AI to students. I think this is more effective than just giving a lecture like this. Giving a lecture or a 2-hour lecture on academic integrity is going to be boring. But implement something like this, I think you're going to get more interactions, more active involvement from the students. Here also, I've provided really cool website, really cool. Let me show you here. Okay. All right. Now, you can go to aipedagogy.org. Okay. All right. The cool thing about this website is this is an evolving collection of curated assignments that integrate AI tools from educators around the world. If you're just getting started with the Agile AI guide. Okay. So it gives you a few activities or assessment so that students can use AI in a meaningful way, not in like a cheating way, in a meaningful way. Okay, so there's some examples here. Science fiction world building. This is nice. If I'm teaching English, for example, I don't know, I will ask them to do this world building, like create another Middle Earth, for example. Create I don't know, Star Trek Enterprise, something like that. Okay, I really like this one. I think I found the name. Let me show you one by one slowly. You can get. All right. Translingualism. Debating ethics of generative AI. Yeah, I really like this AI misinformation campaign. So basically, the instruction for lectures is create a 300-400 word article explains why vaccine causes autism. Include links to at least 2 sources to support specific claim. And then give it to students and then give a reflection. So it kind of train students to differentiate between a real information source, a reliable source, or something like a misinformation campaign, disinformation campaign, something what we call a BS on social media, because there are a lot of them right now. And it trains the students to skill to identify this, which I think this is a good example of how you can do it. Subject journalism, political science, writing, which is good. There are 4 pages of examples here. Okay. Coding, how can you actually, yeah, correct a bad essay? Ah, mine is correct a bot essay. Hey, analyzing AI literature, this is nice. Okay. Somerset. Yeah. But most of this is on journalism. But I don't think it's only beneficial for journalism students or mass communication students, but also, some of these ideas can be implemented in your own, like for example, biology course, for example, engineering. I think you can get some ideas from it. Okay. Now we got about 10 minutes left. I just want to, uh, let you know about these ideas here, because we are talking about ideas right now, how to do this, how to do that, because we already know, I think at this point, we need to actually increase the academic integrity. We have the new kursus QR, kursus integrity and anti-rasuah. How do we talk about this stuff in that course, for example? You can implement some of this debate or case studies method, which I think is useful. We know AI is being used around everything we do today, everything the students do. How do we communicate our policies to actually kind of um, uh, sit down together, have a group of people in your faculty, discuss about this, do little things that you can think is gonna give you a big effect later on. Like I said just now, the honor code is a simple thing to do in your assignments, in your exams. Before the exam, students need to sign something, or like the campaign, like the posters before. We use some of the same methods businesses are using when they're marketing or something like that. Awareness. You're aware of what AI can do. You're aware what students are doing with AI. You're aware what the AI tools are out there that can help you with some of these things. Okay? And you can kind of understand the limitations and stuff like that. So this is what my kind of message is. We know what we want to do. We know this is important. That's why CADe-Lead is picking this topic as one of the topic of the year. But how are we going to do it? I don't want to really prescribe you, but I already listed some of the activities, some of the little things that we can implement ourselves. But I think most important is we want this to become a culture. We want, when we'll talk about AI assessment, everyone has an idea already. Oh, we are doing this and that. We are doing this of our students. Students are also responding very well. We want to have that kind of conversation. We are not like a whack-a-mole. You've been to like dulu kan ada macam fun fair where you have this game where you have holes and then ada tikus keluar and then kita ketuk dengan hammer. Whack-a-mole. We don't treat AI as a whack-a-mole kind of thing. One problem come up, let's hit that. Another problem come up, let's figure out how to hit that. It's really reactive kind of thing. We want to be proactive. We want to build a culture. So little things like today, what we have today, little things that you are doing in your course, you are doing in your faculty, you are suggesting to your dean or deputy dean, whatever, it's going to help a lot. But it's very important that most of us here in UPM are doing little things about this, so that it's going to build. Rome wasn't built in a day. Academic integrity, same thing. AI competency, same thing. It needs effort from everyone. So I'm really hoping that what I'm sharing today give you a bit of awareness about what we can do, what are the resources out there that can help you. You can start, using it little by little. Spend some time on a weekend at night or would just discover these things. And then if you see, hey, this is interesting, you can share it with your friends. Hopefully they got some ideas too. This is what we want. Then I think when we're in the university is the place of dialogue. When we are talking to each other, that's how we move forward. And I think enough rambling for me. I've been spending 50 pages of slides here today. So I would like to just spend this 10 minutes, last 10 minutes, just to open up to questions, to discuss anything. I'll give it back to Dr. Amy.
Alright. Terima kasih banyak Dr. Salah. Saya ada tengok dekat chat box ni adalah beberapa komen daripada participant. For example, daripada ni Dr. atau Profesor Boon Hao. Let students use AI creatively and to declare how they use AI, including the prompts and processes to their outputs.
Yeah.
And then dia juga mention assessments must include identifying the core value of the learning programs and their critical thinking through the learning with AI. So
Yeah,
memang
I think that sums up. That's pretty much sums up my the other section where let students use AI, but at the same time, students need to tell us like how do you use the AI. It's a good, yes. Thank you for giving a better summary than what I did just now.
Lepas tu Dr. Hisham ada tanya tu, the case study ni you create on your own or you ada use any AI to create that?
Saya jumpa some of these case studies from another source from I think UPenn kot, University of Pennsylvania, because they were doing the same thing also. So I kind of learned from them. And then I saw some of the case studies. I thought, oh, this is nice, but it's too American kind of thing. So I tukar sikit lah, jadi Malaysia sikit. Jadi relevant dengan Malaysia sikit lah. So I think I couldn't find the website. It's been a while, but I think it's from University of Pennsylvania website on academic integrity.
Sebab saya pun kadang-kadang ada masalah yang sama jugalah, macam kita nak buat some assessment yang bukan macam biasa normal classic way of assessment, and kita nak buat yang something yang innovative with the use of AI. But sometimes kita macam stuck, tak tahu nak cari idea, nak start dari mana kan. So I think this kind of websites ataupun movement yang you shared with us just now maybe boleh boleh digunakanlah sebagai initial idea.
Betul lah. Soalnya kadang-kadang kita nak idea sikit je, nak spark kan,
betul.
and then kita boleh kembangkan idea guna AI juga. Contohnya kan, I have this idea, talk to your ChatGPT lah, cakap, I have this idea to do this and this and this and this. Can you design for me so that this is another one.
Betul. Okay, ada lagi soalan? Ada sesiapa yang nak bertanya terus, boleh unmute dan tanya.
Salah.
Hisham sekejap. Ada Hisham again.
You
Silakan.
bertanggungjawab sebab I dah fall in love dengan itu.
Undermine.
Undermine tu. How much it cost subscribe?
Aku share benda yang aku suka. Itu macam aku rasa useful, aku share lah.
Mahal tak?
Dia aku rasa $20 juga sebulan.
Oh, dia macam
so $20 macam 90 something lah.
Okay. But I try tadi memang
tak. Kalau kau bayar tahunan, kau dapat $16 sebulan.
Oh, okay. Dia ada discounted price lah. Okay.
The discount price kalau kau ambil tahun ke tahun. Maksudnya you pay at the end of the year.
Macam apa tu? Canva. Okay.
And then if you can get the team,
Tapi
kau
memang
nak produce apa?
best. Memang best. Memang best.
Undermine.
Anyway.
Untuk makluman semua, ni bukan sesi jualan ataupun demonstrasi lah. Sharing.
Thanks Amy. Betul kan cakap.
I'm
not promoting.
That's really help lah.
I'm not getting anything. I wish I could get something, but I'm not getting anything here. But I really want to share some of the tools out there, which has been helpful for me, and apparently has been helpful for Hisham also kan, and some others also. Some students in biotech faculty pun dia minat sangat. So I share which I think it's
Yang
beneficial.
terbukti lah, terbukti
Yang
boleh
terbukti lah
membantu.
sekarang
Ya.
kita ada banyak je saya guna out there baik, tapi yang inilah yang saya tak segan kata gunalah try kalau suka ni lah, saya tak dapat apa-apa pun.
Sebab banyak sangat kan, kita pun kadang macam tak
Banyak.
pasti nak pilih yang mana, tool mana yang sesuai. Selalu pun
Oh,
kita akan tanya pendapat kawan-kawan lah, yang mana dah
betul.
ada experience.
So saya kata itulah, jadi macam Bruce Lee cakap lah, you know, it doesn't matter if you learn 10,000 kicks. Lagi takut pada orang yang learn one kick 10,000 times.
Ya, betul.
So I kena ikut advice Prof K lah, pecah tabung.
Yeah. Be like water. Someone said to me just now, Bruce Lee, be like water.
Okey, ada lagi soalan-soalan?
Just for fun ya,
Peserta
kadang-kadang kita macam itulah.
Kalau
We
ada
want
yang
to keep it
bertanya,
conversational. Yeah.
tak ada dah rasanya.
Tak ada dah,
Okey. So
yes,
terima
ada
kasih. Ada lagi? Ada.
ada seorang.
One last question, or maybe one
Okay.
last suggestion. Salah, since you are talking about assessment and also how to, I guess, be fair to students who use AI, can you recommend to SGS about the template or the rubric of how we assess PhD dissertation or master dissertation? Because I have encountered a lot of theses that has used AI in a very irresponsible way, in the sense that they just copy and paste. I mean, they don't really use the method that you use with your students. For example, generate 300 words of SDG on engineering. Okay, fine. They can do that, but you also give another layer of instruction to them where you want them to improve that essay. But with regards to PhD students who maybe just use that first part where they just generate their literature review or their dissertation using ChatGPT, and then they just submit that. I mean, we as an examiner, we don't really have power to improve their dissertation. We just examine and read them. So when we are being presented with that kind of work, I mean, me personally, I don't know how to give marks or assess that kind of work, because usually I would just give them a fail lah, sebab suka hati je macam suruh ChatGPT do that for you. But I think it's unfair to do that now, because we cannot avoid or we cannot prevent students from using AI totally. So I hope that you can somewhat give recommendation or give suggestions to SGS on how they can improve their rubric, on how we examiners can improve our way of marking or examining thesis.
I agree, because right now that's the issue. Because when we talk about this, then we kind of say, hey, I've seen thesis, I've seen papers that are kind of obviously AI generated. What do we do about it? Kita kena memang betul. I think SGS is one important need to look at this lah. As in, how do we detect? There's one. There's when you're telling the stories, I remember this year alone, I found like 3 papers yang kan orang hantar review kan. Obviously AI generated. Very shallow, very general. So what I did was I just sent back to the editor and said, I suspect that this paper is mostly AI generated, and then I just give the editor to decide lah. But I think we can do the same to like some of our students as well. I suspect that most of the section and this chapter, whatever, is AI generated. It doesn't provide any new thing. And then so my correction or suggestion is just to rewrite that section. I think we can do that based on our Nila experience. But what I don't want university to do is to subscribe to AI detection tool. No matter how big the name is, they turn it in lah. Do not subscribe to AI detection tool, because they are useless. Think about this. If there are AI detection tools out there, which is very good if there are
Mhm.
things like that. Don't you think that there is also another tool which can evade the detection, make it
Yeah,
sound
yeah.
human so that the tool cannot detect that?
Yeah.
So actually, last year, a couple of universities in the US, I forgot, I think Penn State also, and some of the universities have, University of Maryland, have tried this. They tried the AI detection tools because there were a lot of promise. And then after a while, they just, take it back and then say, no, when AI detection tools are banned because they give false impression, one thing, because it's not like you're turning it in, yeah? Turn it in,
Mhm.
they give you numbers. Okay, these are the exact words and these are the exact words from this. So you can see the evidence. They give you a percentage. But AI detection tools, they give you, say, 86% similarity. 86% based on what? You don't know. You don't have evidence. So
Mhm.
one, you cannot use them reliably. Number two, you cannot use them because it didn't give you any evidence. The numbers comes up from I don't know, anywhere. And there are
Mhm.
also other tools out there which can trick this detection tool. So I would suggest you see not to pay for this kind of detection tool, no matter how marketing campaign.
I see.
Another fact is OpenAI last year, they at one time they say, okay, yeah, we have created an AI detection tool. It came up, on their website for like less than a month, and then they took it down because they say it's not reliable. People found out it's not reliable. So AI detection tool, there are no such thing like that out there. But you can use them just for example, you just want to find out, I think you want to make your own judgment, can help your own judgment, yes. But like I said, do not trust AI detection tools for telling you whether it's AI generated or not. I think you got to build your own experience like that.
I see.
So
All
yes,
right.
we need to tell
SGS, please.
not only SGS lah, all faculty lah, need to be careful with this because it's very common right now, kan?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
All right. Be like water, Salah.
Be like
Thank you,
water.
Dr. Nash. Jauh tu daripada
Uh,
US tu.
Uh-uh.
oh, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah.
Kau kat
Mal
mana? Ni,
malam ke
Udara
siang
Cafe
tu.
ni?
Malam, 10 malam.
Alah,
Okay.
man.
Alright, terima kasih. Ada lagi?
Okay.
Dah pukul 12 dah so kalau
Pukul 12
ada
lah.
pertambahan soalan boleh personal contact Dr. Salah lah.
Okay.
So saya serahkan kembali sesi kepada CADe dengan ucapan terima kasih banyak Dr. Salah.
Terima